Welcome back to another episode of the AA Sports Podcast. My name's Art, here with my brother Alex.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Today we'll be talking UFC 260 going down this Saturday. Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. All that good stuff really helps out the podcast. So let's get started with the main event of Saturday night. Stipe Miocic taking on Francis Ngannou. Rematch from their first fight 3 years ago, which Miocic won by unanimous decision. Alex, one, who are you going for? I already know who you're going for, but two, give me the reasons why.
You know what? I'm going for Francis Ngannou. I think he's, I don't know. I feel like Miocic is not going to have, I think when he beat him the first time, Francis Ngannou was still green. He hadn't got his feet wet yet. And, if he somehow doesn't make any adjustments at all, I will be the first one to come on this podcast and say that I eat crow, and Miocic will be probably the best heavyweight that has ever fought in the UFC. All right, period.
Ngannou's been on a 4-fight win streak, all 4 by knockout. I believe he has like less than 2 minutes of octagon time in those 4 wins. Any concern with that?
I mean, there is concern as far as like experience and things like that, but I don't think, to me at least, I don't, for me at least, I don't think Ngannou hasn't, made any adjustments or evolved at all.
Okay.
If there is a situation where he hasn't evolved or hasn't added things to his arsenal to make this a better fight, then he just wasted. How many years has it been since they fought?
3 years.
Then he wasted 3 years, fighting guys that just, if his goal is just to fight guys, then, I think his goal is to be champion. If he can be champion, I mean, what a story this guy has to tell.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. He has a great story, great background. If you listen to him on the Joe Rogan podcast, crazy story of him getting out of Cameroon, correct?
Yeah.
Getting out of Cameroon and pretty much defecting to Europe. I believe he defected to Spain first and then from Spain to France. If I'm not mistaken. Crazy story. I believe Miocic is going to come out with the victory. I just don't see Miocic losing to Ngannou. I feel like Miocic knows what the game plan is for Ngannou. It's come in and try to take my head off. And if I feel like Miocic will be prepared for that, and he'll be able to weather an early storm. I think that's the main concern would be that early burst from Ngannou. But after that, I mean, I think Miocic will likely take care of Ngannou, maybe even stop him this time.
Really, you think he has the power to stop Ngannou?
I don't think he's gonna knock him out like in the stand up, but I think taking him down and. In the first fight, he did risk it a little bit by, not really working too much on the ground, just kind of controlling the ground time, winning the rounds, but not really trying to take him out. And then we saw a couple times at the beginning of the following rounds, Ngannou landing a good punch and hurting Miocic. And, just that threat of the knockout threat is just enough for me to think, Miocic needs to try to get him out of there.
Okay.
If he takes him down, try to get him out of there. Keep the control. Don't go all crazy and, lose control on the ground, letting Ngannou get up. But while he is down, try to take him out.
Yeah.
Minimize the risk of getting knocked out yourself.
Okay.
So you're picking Ngannou?
Yes, I am.
Talk about the disrespect to Miocic.
You know what? I think in the first fight as well, after it was over, I think Stipe Miocic definitely felt disrespected by the UFC. There was a lot of hype behind Ngannou at the time. This was a guy that was knocking everybody out. And I think they just felt that it would have, if Ngannou would have beat Miocic in that first fight, he would have just been more of a marketable guy. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't like a guy that knocks everybody out? Yeah. You know what I mean? Nobody likes guys that go third, fourth round, go the distance, things like that. Which I think Miocic is getting very disrespected because, he's a fireman. What is he, a part-time fireman?
Disrespect to Miocic is just crazy. I think he's a plus 110 underdog. So that's ridiculous to me. So if you're looking to put money, I would put money on Miocic. Personally, myself. Any last thoughts on this fight?
Nah, not really. Hopefully we get to see a good fight.
The co-main event was supposed to be Alexander Volkanovski taking on Brian Ortega. However, Volkanovski and one of his cornermen tested positive for COVID. So they had to travel back to Australia. Any thoughts on that situation?
No, you know what? I was definitely bummed about that one. Although I felt like Volkanovski probably would have beat Brian Ortega, it just, it sucks that we're not going to get to see that fight. I think Brian Ortega has evolved as a mixed martial artist. I think he worked a lot on his stand-up game, and he showed that in the fight with Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Alex Volkanovski, I think they tested him twice, right, to see if they could save the event.
So what happened was he got to Vegas, or he left Australia. He was tested leaving Australia, got to Vegas, the UFC Apex Center, tested before getting into the bubble. He tested negative. He tested again during fight week, tested positive. I believe they went back and tried to give him a second test to see if it would be, a false positive, but it was still positive. The second test was also positive. So he was, they tried to save the fight from what I hear, but or from what I read, sorry. And it just didn't happen. 2 positive tests. They didn't want to risk the event. So Brian Ortega, thoughts on Brian Ortega and what he should do next? If a fight comes up, say like Max Holloway. If a fight with Max Holloway comes up, do you think he should take that fight, or should he wait it out and wait for his title shot?
Wait it out, wait for your title shot. Definitely. I don't think you want to see Max Holloway right now. Because it looks like Max Holloway is a different Max Holloway. It looks like he's evolved
a new and
as
improved.
well. His stand-up game is looking as sharp as ever, So, yeah, I think if you're Brian Ortega, you stay away from Max Holloway for now and wait to get that title shot.
So that was our co-main event before it was canceled. Now that gives Tyron Woodley the chance to be co-main event against Vicente Lukey. Talk to me about Woodley. I have my personal thoughts about Woodley. Talk to me about what you think about this fight between Lukey and Woodley.
You know what? Unfortunately for Tyron Woodley, it seems like he's just on a decline. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. I heard there was reports that he could have been released before this fight.
Okay.
So there was what is this, UFC 260?
This is UFC 260.
Yeah, UFC 260. The press conference that they do where they have all the fighters and things like that. They talked to Sean O'Malley. They talked to let's see, I think Miocic also did interviews, and Woodley was on there as well. And they asked him about it. They asked him, okay, what's up with his release? I guess they were contemplating being released before this fight. For whatever reason, they didn't release him. And, the way it's looking to me, at least, if he loses this fight, he's going to get either released, cut, something. Because I don't think he's going to be a stepping stone to anybody.
No, I don't know his contract situation. However, I feel like Woodley's just kind of writing out his contract. He's just taking the fights that he has to. It upsets me because Woodley's not a bad fighter. But I've seen a lack of urgency, a lack of effort, like real effort to win a fight in his last couple fights, and it's really upsetting from a former world champion. Even when he lost his belt to Usman, you could just see the lack of urgency to try to win that fight. Same thing when he fought Kobe Covington. Same thing when he fought Gilbert Burns. It's like, yes, these guys are really good fighters, but so is Tyron Woodley. Like, he could beat some of these guys if he, put his mind to it and actually gave a little more effort. And I feel like the effort wasn't there. And that's a little upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like I said, I don't know his contract situation, but it feels like he's just trying to ride out the wave, ride the contract out, fight the fights he's supposed to fight, not re-sign anything, and just, either ride off into the sunset and enjoy his rap career or go to a different promotion.
Yeah. And this fight's going to be a 3-rounder, right?
I believe so, yes.
If it's a 3-rounder, I think Tyron Woodley. I think that's gonna favor Tyron Woodley in this fight.
It definitely helps him.
Yeah, but hopefully he comes out and he starts swinging and throwing some leather because Vicente Luque doesn't come to mess around.
Yeah.
All right. I think Vicente Luque's last loss was to Wonderboy Thompson. He put up a good fight in that one. And then I think he's won 2 fights after that. So Vicente Luque's got a chin on him, man. Let me tell you, when he fought Mike Perry, he took some devastating bombs from Mike Perry, and that dude didn't even buckle.
That was a violent fight.
Yeah, that was a violent fight. So I can't wait to see this one. I am going to be picking Vicente Luque, though. I think he's going to find the route to victory against Woodley.
I'm going to give Woodley one more chance.
One more chance? He's had 3 fights.
And it's probably a mistake, but I hope Woodley pulls it together and at least gets a victory here. And
in Woodley's defense, he has fought in the better opposition.
Yeah,
because he's gotten, Kamaru Usman, who's a straight killer. Kobe Covington, top guy, probably ranked number 2 in that division, or number 1 if you're ranking champion and then contender, whatever. And then he got Gilbert Burns, who was on the come up. The dude's a freaking animal as well. He lost to Kamaru Usman, but that's Kamaru Usman.
Yeah,
he's fought 3 killers, you know. So I think it's just Woodley's in a tough spot. Do you think that's fair to Tyron Woodley that he gets, and they're in talks of release because he loses to 3 of the top welterweights?
I think it's the way he loses.
Like he doesn't put up the fight that people think he's gonna put up.
Yeah, dude, when have you heard of an exciting fighter get released?
That is true. You know what?
Unless they want out. Obviously, if they want out, then it's a different story. But an exciting fighter who loses 2 or 3 fights, when do they get released? They don't.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lack of effort thing. If the effort's not there and Dana White sees that you're just there to collect a paycheck, then he's going to let you go. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah, that's true.
So then moving up in the card also is Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Thomas Almeida. This was supposed to open the pay-per-view, but I guess now there's going to be a new fight opening the pay-per-view, which is good for Sugar Sean O'Malley. Now, this is the first time we see him since his loss to Chito Vera, where he definitely hurt his leg. You have some information on that leg injury?
What do you mean? For Sean O'Malley?
Yeah.
You mean the one that he suffered in his last fight?
In the Chito Vera fight.
Oh, okay. So Sean O'Malley, when he fought Chito Vera in his last fight, he came out with a loss. It was in the first round. So what happened was he got kicked in the leg, which I guess it was supposed to be a calf kick, whatever the case. Sean O'Malley tried to move out of the way of that leg kick. He ends up getting caught behind his knee. I think it was kind of the toes of Chito Vera hit the back of Sean O'Malley's knee. So in the back of your knee, you have a nerve that if you hit that nerve like spot on, it's very rare that this even happens. I think it's happened twice that I known of. Once it happened to Michael Chandler when he was fighting in Bellator. I forget what fight it happened in. And then the second time I seen it happen was when Demetrius Johnson fought Henry Cejudo the second time. You get hit in that nerve from a kick or whatever, and your leg just goes dead. You end up losing the feeling in your leg. So guys start to wobble around. They roll their ankle a lot. It seems like their toes it seems like you could roll your ankle real easy, and it just seems like you lose complete control of it. That's what happened in Sean O'Malley's fight with Chito Vera. And you know what? I don't think Sean O'Malley as well, he was at the press conference and he was talking about what happened. And he said that Chito Vera's big Ecuadorian toe hit him in the nerve. And he says, the odds of that happening again in his career are very slim. If that happens again in his career, he says that he will, he'll have to reassess his career situation, Yeah,
that was rough.
Yeah, you know what? I think Sean O'Malley is going to definitely... I think he's gonna put a beating on Thomas Almeida. I think he's tired of people telling him that this guy was nothing but hype. I think it was a freak accident that happened. Not taking anything away from Marlon Vera, but how many times has that happened?
Yeah.
It's happened 2 fights prior. It happened, and they were spaced out. And how many calf kicks, leg kicks have been thrown in the UFC? And how many times has that happened since then?
Yeah, it's one of those freak accidents.
And that's what Sean O'Malley was talking about. He's like, you know what? Look at how many leg kicks have been thrown and landed in the UFC, and that hasn't happened. You know what I mean? I think it was just, it was a rare thing that happened. But I think Sugar Sean O'Malley he's gonna come out and he's gonna put a beating on Thomas Almeida. I think he's got something to prove.
Thomas Almeida when he first came into the UFC, I believe he was 4-0 in his first 4 UFC fights.
Definitely a prospect coming up.
Fought Cody Garbrandt,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, and then took a loss there, and since has been on a losing streak, right?
I think it was 2 undefeated fighters when Thomas Almeida and Cody Garbrandt fought each other.
Okay,
they both hadn't lost, so that was a big fight back then.
And Almeida's fights since have been, against good opposition. I think he fought Rob Font. Can't remember off the top of my head who else was on his record.
Is Thomas Almeida on a 3-fight skid
I think
right
it's
now?
a 3-fight skid, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, right. He fought Rob Font, the guy that's gonna fight Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Thomas Almeida right now? Do you think he's on the shelf? Because we were looking at his record, and it seemed like he prior to fighting or in the span of his 3 fights since he lost to Cody Garbrandt, it seemed like he hadn't fought in like 2 years. Fought in like 2018 once, 2019 maybe fought once, 2020 fought once. It seemed like he got put on the shelf a little bit. What happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I feel like it's the perfect opponent for Sean O'Malley, somebody who hasn't been active, somebody who, he doesn't have a good record, but I mean, he was a highly touted, prospect before he lost to Cody Garbrandt, and then just kind of went on a skid. So the talent's there. He just, fought better opposition because, you see Garbrandt and Font going at it with the winner possibly getting a title shot after that fight. So he's obviously fought good fighters, since.
Right. So Sean O'Malley obviously is the favorite. Are you picking Sean O'Malley to win this fight? Yeah. Would you put some money on the first round knockout or the first round stoppage?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing. You know what? I think Sean O'Malley's coming with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know why Sean O'Malley's such a good guy to promote? He seems like a lot of the fans are interested in him. It's because of the way he fights. Yeah. The way he fights, he comes with action. He throws spinning wheel kicks. He has some devastating power. Do you ever watch his YouTube channel? He has a YouTube channel as well. He has a Timbo Sugar Show.
Sugar Show.
Yeah, they smoke weed and shit on there and stuff.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah, definitely not a sponsor. But he has a bunch of cool stuff on there,
Okay.
Yeah, so people should go out there, check it out. And yeah, you know what? I hope we get to see a really good performance from Sugar Sean O'Malley because he definitely has a lot to prove.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him fight. I was very surprised at the Chito Vera fight. I thought that was going to be a kind of a coming out performance for him.
You were surprised. I was surprised. I was devastated.
Everybody was shocked.
Yeah.
Chito Vera went on to fight Jose Aldo after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
which I was really surprised about because let's be honest, Chito Vera is a good fighter and everything, but I think he was more, he was fed to Sugar Sean O'Malley to lose that fight. He was
fed to Jose Aldo to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think too many people really thought that Chito Vera, but he actually went the distance with Jose Aldo, right? Mm-hmm. Did you get to watch that fight? Did you see any highlights by chance? No. Okay. I didn't get a chance to see that one either. Where was the? Was it the undercard to a big fight?
Yeah, I was an undercard.
To who?
I don't remember.
Don't remember? Okay. Yeah, me either. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Sorry.
UFC 260. Make sure you guys check it out this weekend on pay-per-view. We'll definitely be watching it. If you guys haven't already, check out our boxing preview. Alexander Povetkin taking on Dillian White in their rematch. Povetkin won their first fight by knockout. We also talked about Gervonta Davis's situation going on, legal situation. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Any last thoughts or comments?
Not really. You know what? I think our picture looks very clear right now. We got some new lighting. My brother ordered some new lights.
Yeah, we got some new lights.
Due to a bet that I beat him in. We bet on the Michael Chiesa versus Neil Magny fight, and luckily I I picked Michael Chiesa to beat him. So we got these new lights. It looks nice. The picture looks 10 times more clear. Looks great. Yeah. You know, I thought it was gonna make us look like wider, but it's not. You know, it's making us look pretty good.
Like wider.
No, white, like whiter. Yeah. So, but yeah, and sorry about the fly in here. There was a fly in here. You know what? I tried to put the smackdown on it earlier. You saw how that worked out. I couldn't get it. You know, I try to be like Mr. Miyagi, gets him with the chopsticks. I definitely
just don't have chopsticks.
Yeah, definitely not. So, sorry about that, guys.
But thank you guys for watching this episode of the A Sports Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.